So, on a less serious note, we're going to do a little work here. I brought props. Let's see here. Oh my goodness. Bear with me. I know this really looks bad when you're trying to entertain people. Well, this is really bad. I'm supposed to do a little ventriloquist bit tonight. And in my haste,
there's a baby.
If I pinch her, will she open her mouth and close it on her mouth? It looks like I remembered to bring everything except a dummy. And I know that I have said that, we should never treat people as puppets. But the show must go on. I am going to have to improvise. Do I have any volunteers tonight? Hollis Bredeweg. So I see your hand go up. Come on up, Hollis. Stand in front of this microphone. So, Hollis, again, it's wonderful to have both you and Sally joining with us. I say that, I mean that from the bottom of my heart. Not only did everyone talk about how meaningful your work was to this congregation before I came, but it's also been very meaningful to me during my almost 4 years here because of the good work you did, helping to prepare this congregation for my arrival. So I'm very indebted to you, and I'm so glad that we're friends, and so glad that both you and Sally are joining us today. How are you doing?
Doing well. Doing well.
How's the move going?
We're almost moved in.
Are you?
I found our wills from 2006 just, 2 days ago?
See?
Just found it.
All is good. So yeah, the reason I ask is Peggy was saying, we just still feel like we're just getting here. It's just such a fresh, wonderful community to be part of. So I'm going to let you say more in a little bit. But first of all, have you ever been a dummy before?
You might ask them.
Well, you'd be surprised how easily a ventriloquist's lips get chapped. Anyway, I appreciate you volunteering, and I think you're going to be a shoo-in. But, just in case I am going to have to administer the standardized dummy test to make sure that you qualify. Have you ever taken it before?
No.
Oh, you haven't? But just 3 simple yes or no questions. You do have to get all of them correct to pass, okay? So just to be as honest as you can, okay? So first question. Are you easily manipulated by others? Yes. Do you often let others put words into your mouth?
Absolutely.
Do you know how to keep your mouth shut when expected to? You can be honest.
Yes.
Well, Hollis, you did much better than I expected. I think this is going to work out wonderfully. Nevertheless, we are going to have to do a little work to help you, fit the role. So if you would just stand right here in front of me for a moment. And you see those holes right there? Just let's see. That's not the one. That's the one right there. There you go. And then let's see, there's another one right there. Okay? And then if you would be kind enough as to just let your arms sort of hang to the side, turn around for me. And let's see if we can work that just fine. your hands. Look here now. Isn't that wonderful? So we're going to try this out. So you just say howdy doody. Let's see how this works.
Howdy doody.
Great, great. Now let's see. I think I've got something here to top it off. Yeah. Look at that. So he looks just like Charlie McCarthy, the most beloved dummy ever. And notice I said the most beloved, not the most famous, right? The most famous is no longer in office. I'm not going to name any names, but you know who I'm talking about. So let's go ahead and work on your mouth movements, okay? So I'm going to touch when I touch your back, I want you to open your mouth and leave it open until I remove my hand. Open. So this is great. A little faster on the close, almost like there's a rubber band sort of snapping your mouth shut. Hey, this is great. So I think we should try something easy. We'll administer the dummy test again. Okay. Are you easily manipulated by others? Yes. Do you often let others put words into your mouth? Yes. You know how to keep your mouth closed when expected to? Yes. Very good. Okay. So this is working out really well. And I feel like such a dunce for getting the dummy, but this is good. You're doing good. So let's try something a little more complicated. Let's see. I can tell a joke. You just took the words right out of my mouth. What joke should I tell? Well, that's entirely up to you. I know. I can tell a Unitarian Universalist joke. Great idea. I saw a Unitarian Universalist bumper sticker the other day. Oh, really? What did it say? Honk if you're not certain. Hey, that's great, but truthfully, you're still looking a lot like a frightened tourist in a badly dubbed Japanese horror. Zero. Now, see what I mean? So we're going to have to. I was hoping we wouldn't have to do this, Hollis. We're going to have to take this to the next level. Let's see. Hold this for me. Okay, here it is. Here we go. All right. Thank you. Just a second. You won't be reading. Feel okay? Feel tight? How's that working? It's all right. So look, we've got the look, we've got the mouth. Now we just need to help you find the perfect voice. Okay, so let's see. Why don't we start off with something kind of low and guttural? Maybe say something like you imagine Clint Eastwood might say. Go ahead, Tom. Make my day. That's great, but it doesn't really suit you. So this time I get you to tighten up your sphincter a little. Just pull those legs together. I'll try it again. Go ahead, Tom. Make my day. All right, perfect. I think we've got the perfect voice. How are you feeling about it? Wonderful. This is just great. It's great being here with you. Thank you. No, I can enjoy the guest. Well, thank you. No, you're the greatest. Thank you. Can I touch you? Please. This is getting a little embarrassing, and nobody likes to be up in front of a large audience and be embarrassed. So. Yeah, right. So I think that we're ready, We've got the look, we've got the mouth, we've got the voice. You ready to go? Yeah. I think we're ready to entertain. What do you say? You ready? Oh yes, let's do it. Okay. All right. Go ahead. We'll go ahead and entertain. What am I supposed to do? Well, I mean, we went to all this work. Just share whatever talent you have. Well, you got to have a talent, right? I can't think of one. Well, do you know how to dance? Can you do a little tap dance, a little Irish jig? No. Two left feet. Can you play a musical instrument? I'm all thumbs. Well, I guess you really are tonight. Well, let's see. How about a little magic trick? You know any magic tricks? No. I did make a date disappear one time. Okay, well, we won't go there. All right. Hey, you told a pretty good joke a while ago. How about a little stand-up comedy? Well, I can't even do a sit-down comedy. Boy, this is bad. We've gone to all this trouble, and we've got the one dummy in the house that can't perform. Where's that Vaseline at? I got it. What is it? I can impersonate Elvis. You can impersonate Elvis? Yes, I can impersonate Elvis. I had no idea that you were an Elvis impersonator. That's perfect. That's exactly what we're wanting, right? This is great. I'll tell you. I really admire people who can get in front of a big crowd like this and sing. Oh yes. Well, that's excellent. It's times like this I wish I could sing. So you're going to sing Elvis. What are you going to sing for us tonight? Nothing on my mind. Nothing on. You mean always on my mind? Oh yes, that's it. Okay, well, that's great. But hold on, just a second. I think I have just the perfect thing. Let's move this. Let's see here. Yeah. This is great. Ladies and gentlemen, Elvis is in the building. So are you ready to go? Well, I'm a little thirsty. Thirsty? You need a drink of water. Yes, before I can begin, I need a little water. Does somebody have a fresh glass of water they could bring us real quick? This is really slowing down the show, but it's okay. Just, yeah, please, David. We don't want our performer to choke because he hasn't wet his whistle. Here you go. How's that? Much better, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, the king of rock and roll, Elvis Presley, always on my mind. Maybe I didn't love you quite as often as I should have. Maybe I didn't treat you quite as good as I could have. If I made you feel of second best, girl, I'm sorry I was blind. But you're always on 9-9. You're always on 9-9. Okay, now hold on a second. You said you're going to sing Elvis, right? Elvis Presley, not Elvis, your pet cat who's telling you to step on. Yes, Elvis Presley. Elvis, the king of rock and roll. Okay, well, I think I can salvage this night just yet. Okay, let's just try one more thing. All right, please continue. On the road again. On the road again. All my brothers are making music with my friends. And I can't wait to get on the road again. Hey, let's give it up for Willie Nelson, a.k.a. Elvis Presley, a.k.a. Hollis Bredeweg. are a great sport, but you are certainly no dummy. So I am going to give you the opportunity to share a few words of your own.
Well, how nice of you. You know, in my previous... Let's try again. There we go. In my previous professional incarnation as an ordained minister in the United Church of Christ, there was an assumption on the part of people that when I opened my mouth, the words that issued forth were coming from the Holy Spirit. And now I've come to this. And you know what's really interesting about that is he thinks that's a step up.
Yeah, it is.
And to tell you the truth, I think probably most of you do too. And in all honesty, so do I. 4 years ago, the search team had the good sense to ask Todd and Peggy and their family if they would become a part of this community. And 4 years ago, Todd and Peggy had the good sense to say yes. And I am so thankful to this very day. To this very day. A story that only occurred to me tonight. Mary Monroe, shortly after Sally and I left you, Mary invited us to come up to Alaska, and we came to Anchorage and then to Kodiak Island to preach at the fellowship there. And it was a truly memorable experience. First of all, we tried to land on Kodiak Island in a 737, mind you. And I have never in my life been on a roller coaster that was anywhere near as rough as this approach to Kodiak Island. And in fact, the pilot eventually, as we were being thrown all around, watching the rocks come up as we descended, the pilot finally aborted the landing. And because they were using a temporary runway that had a mountain at the end of it, the pilot had to really gun it and go, you know, it was the most, I really thought we were going to die. And I was so glad when we cleared that mountain so that we could go back to Anchorage. And then he said that he was going to try again. And then I knew I was going to die. And he came around, and it was the roughest landing that I've ever been involved in. But we got down. It was a torrential rainstorm. Mary, you remember picking us up. But we had, despite the weather, we had all this wonderful food, different kinds of salmon. Which season was that? And which run was it? We had salmon, some wonderful beer that's brewed right there on Kodiak Island. And I bought another raincoat because it was clear that the others that I had brought were not adequate at all. Had a lovely time, and then the day came for us to leave. And Mary decided to take Sally and I on a drive in her car. Did it have floorboards? I don't remember if it had floorboards. But the drive that Mary decided to take us on involved going over the mountains, and it was once again raining sideways. And there was water coming over the road. You know, they say when there's water coming over the road, you're not supposed to drive on the road. And Mary was going along, and I'm looking at my watch, realizing that our flight off of Kodiak Island, which I was really anxious to get off of Kodiak Island, was going to be leaving. And Mary was still going up the mountain, and the water was coming across the road. And I have never been so nervous in my entire life. And we were going through potholes and around corners on this gravel road. And we got over to the other side. And why did we go to the other side? So we could turn back and come back through all the places where the water was coming across the road. And we didn't know if anybody would be flying in this. But you know, it was Alaska. The pilots in Alaska, they're nuts. And so they indeed, we made it back in time. And we flew off the island, and we got back to Anchorage and back home. And it was the most traumatic experience I've ever had traveling. And since then, I have had this this love for Mary Monroe and this love for Kodiak Island. And all those experiences, they were difficult and rocky and hard. And yet what I brought out of that was this attachment. I was so glad to see you when I came in tonight. And that's exactly the way I feel about all of you. Because, boy, we came through some potholes, didn't we? There were some rocky places in the road. There were places where the water was coming, right through the meeting. And having come through that together, I have such an affection for this church and for all of you that we came through this together. And God, so many of you would say again and again, I am so looking forward to a day when we can say it's been 4 years since we've seen Hollis Bredeweg. And it has! We're at the day that we all longed for and worked so hard for, all that time. It's so good to be a part of that. Since we left you, we've got a different house. We've got a new son-in-law. We've got a new daughter-in-law. We've got a granddaughter. We've got a different dog. We don't have a church, and we don't have friends like you. Some things just can't be replaced. I hope you realize what a precious community this is. And when you have an opportunity to support it financially, you're investing in the best church I know or that I ever served. Blessings.
We have a very small token of appreciation to both you and Sally. If Sally, if you will come forward for just a minute. One of the things that we have done since you moved away, at least in body, not your heart for sure, was to really help clarify our mission. And you probably remember our mission statement. We come together.
I have my name tag though.
You do have your name tag. We join together to create a nourishing, liberal religious home and to champion justice, diversity, environmental stewardship in our wider world. That's the fast version. Or in short, to create community,
find meaning, work for justice.
And we really work to help ourselves remember that each Sunday. So here's a way that you can remember it and hopefully feel the warmth of this community around you both.
One for each of you.
And if they're not the right sizes, you're out of luck. We might have some in the back that would, but Mary Lou will help you with that. But anyway, thank you all.